Hi guys, this is Simeon. It has been extremely stormy. We always get these storms windstorms when the mild weather comes and the weather changes in the winter time. It's just this big bummer, and the jet streams this year are just really messed up. So the Alps are getting way more snow than expected and so on. And we now in the end of January are getting these windstorms. Anyway, I'm gonna go in the forest right now to see if there are any trees that blew over from this wind. There have been some accidents reported from trees that blew over the street and cars that ran into it. So I'm just gonna see how our forest managed. We have some sensitive areas with evergreen spruce trees. You guys can see how that tree line down there is just really being shaken by the storm, and that's the sensitive area on our farm because the forest in front of it is cut off or cut down, and the wind has just for the past 15 years just been hitting in this spot and taking down a bunch of trees every winter. Even though the trees are bending quite a bit, it doesn't seem too bad. There are a few trees here that are leaning, as you maybe can see, and it's quite stormy. We have a bunch of wind gusts here that are quite strong still, but I think the forest survived. There are maybe a couple trees that blew down, but you see, this is just a sensitive area because, well, we had this huge storm a few years after we moved up here that took down a bunch of trees, and it was like a hurricane. And ever since there was this hole, and there was this monoculture here, and it just took down more and more. And then at one point we decided to just take down a big chunk because it would just break more, and we have to start over now in this section. But this is like this area, you can just see the tree line over there. Let me focus on that part of the forest, and it just goes down there, and these trees are just super skinny because they've always been standing in the middle of the forest, and so yeah, basically they're really sensitive to the wind, and pretty much every year it eats itself a couple meters further or a few meters further into the forest. It really depends on how the storms are, and right now the ground is very soft and wet, and we have this wind, and that's the worst combination you can think of. In a lot of other forestry videos from us, I've shown just how we work with different methods to create a forest that's not as sensitive towards all of this. I know in Germany, for example, they're working with this, where they also want to go away from these monocultures and have more mixed forests again. But we'll see. But even these birch trees that have been standing in the forest here, you can see they are also very thin and skinny, and they're okay right now, but they're very sensitive. Here, I'm going to show you guys real quick. Oh, it's stormy. This is the next generation forest now coming up here, and we will soon take the clearing saw and walk through here and choose the best trees, cut down the other ones, and just give them the best kind of start and really manage our forest. So the main species that we have here, I would say, is the pine trees here. So you can see this is a pine tree, and you can see it's been eaten off probably by a moose or something. And then we have these spruce trees here, and then birch. Obviously we have a lot of other trees as well, but those I would say are the main trees here. Maybe aspen is also a very much pioneering tree as well. But when we will go through this section now, and you see what a thicket this is, and it's time for us to go through here already. And you know, here we really have the choice of checking which is the nicest tree and doing it at our own speed. Here we just have the choice to see which tree do we want to leave behind. And spruce trees can be tighter, they grow in the shade, and the birch trees you can give a lot more space. They need more space, they need more light. And then the spruce trees can also grow in the shade of the birch trees. And you guys know that that's how we've been working a bunch with this 2-generation system, where we have pioneering trees like birch and aspen first, spruce trees and high quality growing in the shade, then removing the leaf trees, and we have a standing forest of spruce trees. You can check out a lot of videos right up here where we have talked about that before. See a lot of moose tracks down here on the ground, and deer as well. Here you actually can see that some animals have laid here, probably deer, but yeah. And here you can see this generation forest that we really badly have to go through now. We're a bit behind here already, so it's a project. These guys here are perfectly fit for this kind of weather, coming from the Scottish Highlands where they for thousands of years have been, and had to adapt to this weather, these weather conditions there, these rough winds and everything. They have the stubble fur layer, the hair that covers most of the face. They're perfectly fine. So I'm very glad that this storm didn't take down more trees. But we'll have to go in the forest here very soon, cut down firewood and do some other things, clear up some trees that are blown down in cricket, but for the most part that won't be so much. But it's the forestry season. I know people have been waiting for forestry videos, and we will definitely provide those. They're coming. It's just that we have to see when we have the time for it and people are healthy and all of that. So thanks for joining me on this little inspection in our forest, and well, we'll see you soon. Bye bye guys.